a.m. to 5 p.m. every day.
Well, this jury, 8 men, 4 women, they had a very tough decision to make, and we can only guess as to what they're thinking right now. Pat McReynolds is live in Studio C with a jury consultant to talk a little bit more about the jury in this case, and boy, what an incredible task they had in front of them.
Well, they really did. I'm back with Deborah Johnson from High Stakes Communication, who coaches the witnesses and the defendants who go on the stand, and I guess we can say that the coaching that Jodi Arias got, whether it was good or bad, it didn't work.
Didn't work at all. They didn't buy it.
Yeah.
They clearly were paying attention to all of the facts of the case. Clearly, they separated anything that they might feel about her, if they were feeling anything positive, and they went with the facts of the case, or her behavior really was counter, and they were seeing through the lies, through the deception.
Well, and one thing we were talking about, obviously her defense attorney was trying to portray her as a sympathetic figure, and even in the way that she dressed and even in her demeanor, it was to try to elicit some type of sympathy. But then even in closing arguments, her attorney was saying, you know what, I don't even like her at times. Was that a signal that he had even given up on what the coaching plan was up to that point?
Well, it's hard to know what the coaching plan was. I saw that as him really looking into the jury and saying, I bet they don't like her. Let me just admit the fact that I don't, because that gives him a chance to step in a little closer to the jury and potentially sort of break this shield and listen a little more to what he had to say. Now, clearly they didn't buy what he said.
No, and at that point, you know, obviously the mountain of evidence was stacked against him, but you have to wonder, it did undercut the whole plan of trying to make her this sympathetic woman, this potentially abused woman. It was schizophrenic at times as far as the plan that they had.
It was a little bit when he got to that point, but it may be that, you know, it was sort of a Hail Mary pass at the end, which is, hey, look, I've been watching you guys and you don't like her, so let me just admit that. Let me just cop to that.
But what you do is orchestration, and I imagine that's even down to this last final moment when she walked into the courtroom today, and everything that she was on the stand and how she behaved and how she should behave. When you saw every once in a while when she decided to be an outlier and not follow the script, where she would maybe be a little sarcastic or a little snippy with Juan Martinez, the prosecutor. As a person who coaches these witnesses, did that make you cringe a little bit to realize that, I don't think that's exactly what her defense team was going for?
Well, you always hate to see them, you know, sort of break this sort of image that they've set. So you don't want them, you want them to be really consistent in who they are. Now, if all of this was just a front for her, yeah, then she's breaking through the lie. What I always want is for people to be very authentic. I want them to be who they are, the best that they can be, so the jury can hear them. So if there's something about you that the jury's not going to like, can I get you to calm down? Can I get you to not be so defensive? You know, just so that they can hear what your story is.
I have to ask you though, Deborah, if you were handed a client like this, Jodi Arias, who we now know is guilty of first-degree murder, who had changed her story 3 different times, who stabbed someone 27 times and shot them in the head, are you thinking to yourself, how am I going to be able to coach this person to where they might be able to get through to all of the jury members, not much less one of them? It's a tough task.
It's a tough one. It's a very tough one. She would have been almost impossible because you never knew who she really was.
Yeah.
So when I'm trying to get somebody to just be authentic, you know, so that the jury can see who they are, whether they believe them or not, I can't change. But at least can they hear the story? We never knew who Jodi was. There was Jodi before, there's Jodi after. She's saying this, she's saying that. I did this, I didn't do that. She's crying, she's standing on her head. She's asking, oh, can I fix myself up before you go book me?
Yeah.
You know,
no matter what you do.
Yeah, it was a little like Sybil.
Yes.
So which personality do you want in the courtroom, and can she be consistent
and no
across
matter what
4
you
months?
do, there is videotape of all of those other personalities in the interrogation room. So no matter how good you are and no matter how good she is on the defense stand, they could just hit play on a tape and realize, well, that's not how she was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, which one do you want the jury to believe, and can she be consistent with that across that time? And it looks like she wasn't. Yeah. Like they weren't buying that.
Yeah, obviously with the verdict.
Yeah.
So any other takeaways that you have from her performance and her demeanor on the stand?
Yeah, don't ever do that.
Well, hopefully this is a cautionary tale for everyone involved.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much for
You're
joining
welcome.
us. Let's go back to the studio.